Yes, here we go. Welcome to the holidays. Oh my gosh, we have arrived by. I shouldn't say that. You know what? This morning I worked with an amazing central office leadership team in Montana. In Montana, they're still there. They're still going. They go all the way through tomorrow. And so, for those of you still in the classroom, still doing it, still at home, still on the computer, teaching kids, thank you so much. But I'm telling you, you're just moments away, and so many of us are out, and it's time to rest and relax and rejuvenate and just love your family and get ready. We have the holidays coming up, and one of my favorite times of the year, and that is I love Christmas. And what I really love is the first of the year. And I'll tell you why. Because, I'm not a big resolution guy, but what I love to do is kind of revisit my goals and revisit kind of my mission and what I'm all about and just get clear. And I think for me, real inspiration, what I have found for me, inspiration and motivation and all that stuff that gets you fueled up and fired up, for me, it always comes from clarity. Like, when I look back on my life and I think about those moments when I was most excited about, most passionate, and just filled with inspiration and motivation. You know what it was? I come down to, it's always because I was crystal clear about what I wanted to accomplish in my classroom, in my personal life, my professional life. And so for me, like the first year, that's what it marks. It's not really about resolutions. It's about really getting absolute crystal clear and being able to articulate my goals and what I want to accomplish and all of that. And a lot of that is what we're going to talk about tonight. Tonight on the show, we have Kristy Drakeford. She is from Kentucky. And here's the cool thing about her is, she's one of us, right? So she's been in the classroom for 16 years as an elementary teacher, and now she's a library media specialist. So of course she's having to help all of us stay online with our kids. But not only does she have an expertise there and she understands the life of the teacher and what we all go through, but in addition to that, she is an absolute expert when it comes to helping teachers specifically get crystal clear clarity about their health, about their nutrition and exercise, and a lifestyle that, is all about feeling great. Not just feeling great, but also feeling about who we are and how we look and how we feel. And man, I'm excited to get her on tonight, all the way, get this, from Kentucky. I don't even know what the weather, I have to figure that part out. Let me figure out, I think she's somewhere out there. Tell me again, Kristy, what part of Kentucky are you in? North, south, east, west?
I'm in Central. So Central,
right there in the middle.
Pretty close to Lexington and Frankfort, a very small town called Harrisburg.
And look at you. You're not playing around. Already I can see the weight equipment in the back. You got the hyper extension thing, the squat rack. You're real. See, you're serious about this whole thing.
Yeah, this is my heaven right here.
All right, so let's get right into it. So you're in the classroom and you're doing your thing and you're teaching, you got kids. And here's, I guess, what I want to ask you is, as you're in the lifestyle that we all live, did you fall into that trap where you quit bringing your own food from home and you start eating lunch at school, and there's donuts constantly and treats, and there's the temptation everywhere? As you began your career 16 years ago, did you kind of succumb to all that temptation?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Let's be real. There were times where easy was the way to go because, I didn't have time to meal prep, or I didn't have time, or at least that was what I was telling myself. Usually it was just an excuse, but absolutely. There are times you walk in there, those donuts are glaring, it's a stressful day. You're going to take the donut.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then at some point, did you have this kind of realization, like, man, I want to do something. I want to get back in shape. I want to get back on track. What happened? What was the impetus for that change?
So for me, I've always kind of been into something. I was an athlete when I was growing up. I continued to run. I've done half marathons. I've been to the gym, a gym rat for a while. I feel like I've done everything you could do at some point in my life. But there was a point where I had 3 kids. They were all really close in age. They're 5 years apart. I was teaching full time. I was running around with them, trying to keep up with them. trying to keep up with, just being a mom, a wife, all of that, and then get my master's. So it was something that like I wasn't willing to sacrifice any more time with my kids or being at home when I could. So I just kind of stopped doing stuff for a while. And it really was one day we took Easter pictures, and I was looking at the pictures of myself, and I guess I hadn't even realized that I had become the person that I was. Like, it wasn't me. Like, when I looked at it, I was like, I don't even know who this person is. Like, I lost the passion for that, and that had been different than the rest of me growing up. So I actually then had a friend who told me, hey, and my best friend actually was going to a CrossFit box that had just opened up here in my hometown. And so I jumped into that. And from that point until now, I've been steady and committed at whatever my fitness goals are, which my fitness goals have changed over the years as well. Like I'm not at the CrossFit box anymore, obviously, because I brought my gym here for time purposes. But there came a point where I'd lost my passion for that. I was extremely stressed and didn't recognize who I was, and just felt like that was the point where I had to do something about it.
You know what it is I think as educators, and you know what it's the DNA of a real teacher that puts everyone before themselves. You know, like in the classroom, there you are putting your kids before yourself. And then when you go home, you have your spouse and you have your kids and you have neighbors. And that's like the DNA of, letting ourselves, put ourselves at the bottom of the list. And when it comes to nutrition and exercise, what that might look like is 6, 7, 8 ounces of extra weight in a month.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even look, it doesn't even notice it. But at the end of the year, we're at 5 or 6 pounds. And at the end of 3 and 4 years, now we're at 10, 15. And at the end of 6, 7, 8 years. And now like you wake up and you look in the mirror. And I think we've all had that moment where you're walking by the mirror and you're like, wait a minute, is that me? What happened?
Yeah.
And so for you, you had that moment where you knew you had to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what people, they get intimidated by taking that first step for one reason, like the one, they don't know what to do, and the other reason is they have a feeling of self-consciousness.
Yes, I would agree with both of that. And going into what you also said with that feeling of guilt, that's a real feeling, especially for a lot of moms, because they think, I don't want to sacrifice that time. I'm already, especially teachers, like we're working with kids all day long, that we spend how many hours when we don't have to work because we still feel we have to work. There's still things that have to be done. And then we have this moment where we get to come home and we just think, I can't give any more of my time away from our own. It makes us feel guilty. So I think like that totally goes into play with what you said, and just finding that motivation to start. It's the first step, taking that first step that is so hard for a lot of people because of those reasons.
Yeah. And then also with the guilt, nothing makes guilt go away faster than Oreos.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And then for you, what was there like a final straw, or was it just accumulation, a lot of thoughts and wondering and thinking about it and just making that decision? Or was there like a breaking point for you?
For me, it was just, I think I realized that I could give more of myself if I allowed myself to have some more time to myself. So like you said, I was giving to everybody in my life but myself. And
Yeah.
so I realized, you know what, if I start taking time for myself, I'm a better person. I'm less stressed. I'm more relaxed. I've had my I call it my power hour, where it's me, only me, and no one bothers me. They know not to. And that's my time. That's for me. And then when I'm done with that hour, I feel like there's more of me to give to everybody else.
Yeah. I think as we coming up on the first of the year, I know that there's a lot of folks out there that are in a position where they have had that moment like you, and they've had it multiple times, like I have had. And I think, man, okay, this time I'm really going to get in shape. This time I'm going to do something, and then they get started on, well, if they're experienced at resolutions like I had been in the past, you don't start on January 1st because you want to continue with the food on the first. You start on the second. That's how you do it. And you start on the second, and you go strong until about the ninth, maybe the 11th. And then, man, it's just so much easier what I was doing before, because now I'm sore, I'm tired, and
Agree.
and yeah. And so for you, man, I'm just wondering, do you have any pointers, or how was it for you that you were able to stick with it for so long and have such great results?
So there's a couple things that I even talk to my clients about that really helped me, but I try to preach as much as possible. If you're looking for perfection, you're never going to achieve that. You're going to fall off. It's real life. You're going to have days where you don't have time and you maybe do have to grab something quick. You're going to have days where, you know what, you come in the workroom and you grab that donut off the table and you eat it. And you're going to have days where there are parties or family get togethers and you want to have a drink or enjoy something else. And it's not about achieving perfection. It's the daily progress that you are making to work towards your goals. And I always say it's like a marathon. You can't look at this as like a sprint. So if you start January 1st, you can't think this is a sprint and that everything is going to work out perfectly right away and you're going to be done and at the finish line. That's what we want. We want those quick results, but it's not. It's a marathon. If you're truly wanting to change your health, to change your life, to change your mindset, you have to be okay with failing. You have to learn from your failures. And as a teacher, we teach this to our kids. This is our growth mindset that we teach to our students. And then you have to understand that, if you fall down or you stop to get a drink of water or to take a break in a marathon, you don't go back to the starting line, right? Nobody's going to do that. You're going to keep going, right? Because eventually you're going to get to the finish line. So eventually, if you look at this as a marathon, not a sprint, and you realize that you're never going to achieve perfection. You're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. There are going to be days where you want to quit, but you have to get up the next day and say, you know what, that was in the past. Today's a new day. I'm going to pick right back up where I was.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine, his name is Keith Klein, and he is a world-renowned author and nutritionist and kind of a mind expert when it comes to health and exercise and nutrition. And I was working with him, and and I had perfection issues as well. Like, I was convinced if I didn't stick to the plan, it was over, and the whole week was ruined. And he says, "Hey, so have you ever got a flat tire?" And I said, "Well, yeah." He goes, "Well, when you felt the tire, did you pull over?" I said, "Well, yeah, of course I pulled over." And he said, "Did you immediately jump out and pop the other three tires, or you just fixed the flat?"
Yeah, that's
I
a
said, "I fixed the flat." He goes, "Exactly. That's what we're doing. You just pull over, you fix the flat, and you get going down the road." And man, I think like that's what it is. Again, from the teacher mindset of all the professions, I think it's the DNA, because so many teachers did so well growing up in school, and they were perfectionists, and they were in getting right answers were easy for them, and they did well in work, and they know how to do what they're told and follow instructions and all that. But this is something very different. Well, there's failure built into this model. It's kind of like the stair step. Like, no one makes progress in this perfect trajectory, linear motion. It's always this up and down, where the starting point and the end point, that you could draw a straight line, but what happens really on the journey in between there is this stair step up and down, and successes and failures along the way until we finally get there.
yes, 100%.
And so for some of your clients, because now what you've done is you've taken your expertise and your success and taken everything you learned in the classroom working with kids, you work with adults and helping them um feel that just reach their goals in terms of health and nutrition. And like, how did you get started in that?
Well, as I said before, I started going to a CrossFit box, and as I stayed there, I eventually became a coach there. That kind of lit a fire in me. I found that I really liked helping people. I liked seeing their confidence as they started making progress in what they were doing. And so I've always been a really big nerd about the nutrition aspect of things on my own side. So like I was always looking to see like, well, what should I eat to, make me faster or to make me stronger, or what's going to help me to lean out while, also building some muscle mass or keeping my muscle mass at the same time. So I started kind of getting nerdy about that stuff and decided to go ahead and do a nutrition certification. And then this year, went ahead and joined up with Faster Way to Fat Loss. And that has been awesome because with my busy lifestyle, it has allowed me to reach more people, being an online-based coaching business. And my passion is just seeing people change their health. And it's not about, it's called Faster Way to Fat Loss, so everybody immediately thinks, oh, it's about losing weight. But it is so much more than that. And for me, it's much more than that as a coach. I want to see people changing their health on a whole level, their mindset, their nutrition, their, getting movement in, exercising. And that looks different for everybody. And it's never going to be one thing, one size fits all. And that's the beauty of it, is that everybody's a little bit different. What works for you may not be the same as what works for me, but the simple strategies that I teach can benefit everyone.
It's when I have these conversations, it reminds me of getting our be have do out of order. A lot of people think, man, I want to have this so I can do that, so I can be that person. When really, especially when it comes to getting in shape and health and nutrition, it's like I have to emotionally be that person so I can do those things. So I can have, like, we think, well, I'm going to be that person as a result of it all, but it all results because I've become that person to begin with.
Yes. And I think like one of the biggest things, if people will understand that getting the right mindset and having the mindset to make these changes, understanding that you're in it for the long haul, that you're doing this for the right reasons. If you're doing this to just quickly lose a little bit of weight, that's not always the right reason. If you're doing this because you want to see yourself grow older, you want to fight off disease, you want to make sure that you have a strong immune system. Gosh, us teachers, we need that strong immune system, right? So all of these things, knowing that like you want to be a healthier, more confident person, that usually will get you in the right mindset to make the choices you need to make nutritionally, which is 80% of your results in the long run. We all love to run to the gym on January 1st, but we don't always like to change what's on our plate.
You know what it is for me also, just from my personal experience, is taking the time, and it's not always comfortable but to dig down deep into the why. Because when we say, well, why do you? Well, because I want to lose weight. Well, why? Because I want to look better. Well, why? Because I want to, like, if you keep digging down and asking yourself deeper and deeper why questions, I mean, there's some really motivating stuff emotionally, but I think sometimes people are, they're maybe afraid to look deeper in there. And you're right. Like those first superficial whys, because I want to lose a few pounds. That's just not good. That's not for me. It just feels to me that just doesn't fuel people and doesn't drive people when things get hard. Like it'll get you there. It'll get you to start, but I don't think it's enough fuel to keep you going.
That's one of the things we do day one with my clients is get that deep why. Because like you said, if you come in with your whys, I just want to lose 10 pounds. Then ask yourself why. And usually you get to those deep-rooted problems. Maybe there's body image issues. Maybe, there's struggle with coping with food for other reasons. There's all kinds of different things that people, if you ask why enough, you're going to get to. And if you can understand, why some of your bad habits that you have are in play, it's easier to fix them.
Yeah. Hey, is it okay? I mean, I want to celebrate some of these achievements here.
Yeah.
That, man, hey, Trisha, she's one of my homies. Look at these people chiming in. I love it. And if we can bring this, look at this. So here we have is look at this gangster.
So this is me on the left when I was kind of at the point that I told you I looked at that picture and I just didn't even recognize myself. It wasn't me. I had, just like you said, I'd given and given and given. And the two on the right are me currently this year. So, and that was right after, one of them was right after I finished my actual first Faster Way to Fat Loss round before I became a coach. And then the other one was later on down the road during the summer when it was hot in the garage. So, because right now it's not.
Right. And do you feel comfortable talking about like some of the results you've had? I mean, in terms of just how you feel, sizes,
That
scales,
was actually,
numbers.
so, okay, ironically, in Faster Way to Fat Loss, one of the things that we do not encourage actually is getting on the scale. And we celebrate our non-scale victories. So when you're looking at this photo right here, me on the right, the two pictures of me on the right actually weigh more than the one on the left. Yes.
I was hoping you're going to say that.
And even now, I would say probably now from those pictures, I'm probably even maybe about 5 pounds heavier. I don't really weigh myself very much, hardly at all. We don't in Faster Way. We use pictures. We use measurements to look and see like if we've lost inches. We celebrate those non-scale victories, like our pants fit better, we go down a size, or we have more energy. That is a huge one. We do intermittent fasting, and with the intermittent fasting, and this is something that was new to me. I'd not tried intermittent fasting before, so when I did, I immediately saw my energy levels go up, which was a huge plus for me, being as busy as I am and on the go all the time. So yeah, but we don't get on the scale very much. We don't encourage it.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I think I mean, just because I've been in this lifestyle for so long, when I was looking at the picture, I was thinking, man, I guarantee she weighs exactly the same or maybe even a little bit more in those pictures where she looks more fit and leaner, because I think people, when they go to the gym and they, well, I've been going for 2 weeks and look at the scale, it's the same. Well, of course it's the same.
Yeah.
I mean, if because they just they don't realize the shift in body composition that occurs. And here's what I love about having this team of clients where they can support each other, in the group, is they're all on the same journey. And you know what? When you're a part of something bigger than yourself, it's so much more supportive when you're all alone.
Oh, it is. And the accountability within the groups, just even between clients, it's awesome just having a coach, someone who you're accountable to and you have to answer to. But it's also amazing when you have a lot of times these men and women, they'll be all over the place. They're not all from the same place. They don't know each other. It's funny, like my mother-in-law and my sorority big sister were in the first group that I had together, and they became really good friends because they were constantly encouraging each other. Had no idea who each other were before that, but it's really cool how relationships build, and you feel when you have that support system and somebody who's checking in on you all the time, you feel like you don't want to let them down. And a lot of times we tend to give up less for other people and give up on ourselves faster. So having an accountability partner or within those accountability groups, it's really, really good for that success.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find your mom-in-law. Yes.
That's her.
So, how amazing is that?
Yeah, she decided to try this in my first round. She put all her faith in me, and she pretty much told me, she's like, Kristy, I've tried everything over the years. She had already started losing some weight prior to, but she had just kind of come to a standstill. And when I tried to tell her, look, I guarantee you're doing things right, but it's just going to take a little bit of tweaking. And so we balanced her nutrition. She was severely under eating. She would eat 1,200 or less calories a day. I brought that up for her. She started seeing results. That's one that scares a lot of people when they come in and they see how many calories and how many macronutrients I have them eating, because they've been under eating for so long. And they're scared. They're like, no, I can't eat that much. I'm trying to lose. No, I know. It's okay. You need to eat more because your body needs to use that energy. So she started eating more. I had to really get on her about the protein. She did good with that, but she's had some major loss in weight and inches, and she feels so much better now. She was at a point where she would almost get sick every time she ate. And she's like, I just can't believe. She was like, I was just eating the wrong stuff. She was eating a lot of fatty foods, things that just made her feel sick. And she moved to more of a whole food nutrition diet, incorporated the intermittent fasting, and she did amazing. She looks great. And she feels.
Yeah. Hey, could you cover real quick? Could you cover the whole intermittent fasting? Just kind of a brief overview of what that is, because I know a lot of people see that in the news, and especially if they're on social media, they see people trying it, and I think they're a little confused as to what it is.
Yes. Well, and people describe it in different ways, and sometimes I think that's confusing as well. Basically, all it is a time to eating schedule. So instead of grazing or eating all throughout the day, you have a specific window where you will eat all of your food. So if you're eating 2,000 calories a day, you're going to eat those 2,000 calories within that window. Now that window can be different. The most common and the one that we tend to have our clients use is a 16-8 schedule. So for 16 hours, you're fasting. You sleep through that fasting schedule as well. So, imagine 7 to 8 hours you're actually sleeping through that. So it's not as bad as it sounds. A lot of people will describe it as skipping breakfast. I don't like to say that, because if you're supposed to eat 2,000 calories, you're still eating 2,000 calories. So while you may not eat at that typical breakfast time, you're just pushing back your first meal. So the most common, what people tend to do is do a stop eating at 8 o'clock at night and then pick up with their eating schedule around noon. And then from noon until 8 is when you eat your meals and you get all your food fueled in. A lot of people like to work out during that fasting schedule because it depletes your glycogen levels. So instead of burning sugar, you transition to burning fat. And it's really a simple strategy. And a lot of people will try intermittent fasting. The issue that lies within that is just still making sure that you're getting the right foods and a balanced kind of macro plan, because just doing intermittent fasting has amazing health benefits. But if you're looking to actually lean out and lose fat, you want to make sure that your diet is appropriate as well.
Yeah. What's amazing to me is I've told people in the past is, like if you go to a bookstore, if your town still has a bookstore, I know we have one left in Houston, everything else is online, but we have a bookstore, and if you go over to the nutrition section, the food, health and nutrition, there's got to be 5,000 books on health and nutrition. And you think, oh my gosh, like where do I start? Which one? And how do you know? And I think here's the thing, man. It's so simple. Like the science behind it could be complex, but really the solution, if you didn't need to know the why it works and just tell me what to do and how to do it, that part is so simple. And that's what I love about what you have going on, is because like it really is the solution. It really does work, and it really does work for everybody.
It does. And I just because I see the comment that you just put up, is a latte is my downfall. So this is my probably what I love doing the most. I love lattes too, and I love sweets, and I love all the yummy fatty foods and things like that, right? We all do. If you have taste buds, you love that stuff. But the awesome thing is, what I usually do in my groups is teach my clients how to easily swap things. So if I go get a latte, I switch out, because I try to stay dairy free. So I switch out the milk for coconut milk. I don't do whipped cream. And we use the sugar-free syrup. So still have a flavored latte. I can still drink it. It's perfectly fine, and it's not going to mess up my goals. So I love to teach my clients how to just swap little ingredients here and there to make something that is really good and maybe not so healthy still tastes good, but be better for you.
Yeah. And I admit, so I think, at first when you switch things up, it's different for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it tastes different. It tastes different than because you've been drinking the same thing every day for 4 years, and yeah, it's going to taste different, but what the body does, it acclimates, and that becomes your new normal. And after 5, 6, 7 days, that's just what it is. And you really don't miss it the way you used to have it.
Yes.
Yeah. Tricia says, I run on Dunkin'. Mama is fueled.
Hey, listen, we teachers, we run on coffee, period.
man, caffeinated.
I
If
couldn't do
listen,
without my coffee.
I've always say like I drink so much a day without the jitters could have been a better day.
Yeah.
I need Hey, real quick, let's talk about this superstar, can we?
Yeah, absolutely. So this client right here, she started out, she just had turned 40 the year prior, and she wanted to make a commitment to herself. She wanted to get back in shape. She had kind of said that she had gained a lot of weight, and she was kind of the same boat that I said. You know, she didn't recognize herself. She really wanted to change that. She had, you know, she's a mom, she works a full-time job, and she just absolutely wanted to start making changes in her life to become healthier. She wanted to get strong, and that this one, she got me. She was like my spirit animal, because my favorite hashtag that I use is strong, not skinny. And so she came into this saying, you know, I want to be strong. I want to look like I am going to, nobody's going to mess with me, right? Like, she wanted to build muscle. She wanted to be strong. She wanted to get fit. So I loved that, because a lot of times people do come in and their goal is just to lean out, but she was a rock star. And so she was very committed to doing the workouts, any kind of extra challenge that we would have going on. She would always implement that. She's a rock star for sure. She came in really wanting to build that muscle, and I loved hearing that, because that is a kind of a stereotypical kind of taboo thing sometimes for women, is developing muscle, and that fear of, you know, we hear looking like a man. So I make sure our clients know that's not going to happen. We don't have the same physicality. Our bodies are different. We're not made up the same ways. You're not going to do that. You're just going to look great, and you're going to feel great. You're doing awesome things for your body long term.
Yeah, I mean, you know, once you get caught up in the cycle, this is what I found, you know, that I've discovered for me is once you get caught up in the lifestyle and then you feel better and you're sleeping better and you have more energy, it's almost as like that becomes a new addiction, and you don't want to go back to the way you used to feel and the way the things you used to eat, because it's just it's a completely different life.
Yes. And it's like you said, and we touch on this in a 6-week round. We talk about this. You know, we focus on sleep. We focus on micronutrients and the vitamins that are necessary. We focus on the macronutrients that your body needs. We focus on stress and how to deal with that appropriately, because you can fix your nutrition, you can fix the exercise and getting in your movement. But if you don't fix all the other things, like how much sleep you're getting, reducing the amount of stress you have, if you're not working on all of that, you're still probably not what you want to be in terms of being healthy. That's the best comment ever. Yes.
She's the best. She cracks me up, man.
Especially the Michelle Obama arms, okay?
Hey, me too. I'm ready. I need them. Yes. Yeah. And as we're stepping into the new year, and for those people, at the beginning I was talking about clarity. And for me, like that's really where my motivation and inspiration and passion comes from, is when I'm crystal clear about what I want, how I'm going to do it, why, who I need to be to make all that happen. When I take the time to write all that down and I have that in place for you, for those people stepping into the new year and they're looking at doing something different starting January 2nd. And it might start out with a brisk walk down the street and back. It might start out, everyone's different, might go to the gym. Who knows? Everyone's different. And as they start that new lifestyle, what would you say are just a few things to keep in mind to help them become successful this year?
So, one, again, remember that this is a marathon. Start however you need to start. Don't compare your results or what you're doing to anybody else, because everyone is different. Focus on making that progress. Every day is a new day. Keep working towards that goal, but understand that there are going to be days where you're sick, or days that you don't feel like doing something because maybe there's something more important that you need to take care of. You're going to have days where you nutritionally don't consume what you probably should have consumed. Just realizing that it's okay. It's a journey. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to fail every now and then, but it doesn't mean we quit. And look, every time you want to quit, and I tell this to my clients, you can do the why, you can do the whole deep why, but if you don't write it down or put it somewhere where you can see it all the time, every time you want to quit, look back at that. Look back at your why, and I guarantee the next day you're going to get up motivated again.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. You know, here's what I love. I love the simplicity of it. I love the excitement of it. And what really drives me about what you do and what you have going on for teachers is just the community, you know, like it's this community of people and they all live in the same lifestyle. They speak the same language. They have the same stress. They're all coming from the same place. And when you're in something together, like I said, a part of something bigger than yourself, I mean, it's just inspiring and motivating and it's awesome. And I so appreciate you spending time with us tonight. Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me. I appreciate it. It's awesome.
Hey, let me ask you real quick. Can we do it again in the future? Like maybe we can revisit maybe like the third week of January. We can come back and talk about it.
Absolutely. For sure.
All right. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Hal. Have a great one.
Have a great night. Hey, Merry Christmas to you.